Hello, hello, it's Maria. I'm a reporter here with WW Magazine, here to take you on another magical escape. I am coming to you today from the Swan Reserve, which is right behind me, because I am here to preview the 2023 Food and Wine Classic. It is returning to the Swan and Dolphin for the 14th year. The event dates are November 10th and 11th this year, and it is a true culinary experience that I cannot wait to go all the way up to the 15th floor to preview here today. So without further ado, I'm gonna head inside, check in, and get to tasting some food. Here I am on the 15th floor of the Swan Reserve with an unbelievable panoramic view of the Swan, the Dolphin, the entire boardwalk, yacht, and beach area. There's Epcot out there. I can see Spaceship Earth. I can even see all the way over to the World Showcase, the Disney Skyliner, and if I keep panning, I can spot Riviera Resort over there in the background and see all the way to Hollywood Studios. So, wow, what an unbelievable view up here to start off the event. I am here with Chef Arnis, who is one of the executive chefs, who's going to tell us a little bit about the Food and Wine Classic.
This is actually my second year of Food and Wine. I've only been here for 2 years, but we have a team of 35 pastry cooks. We start the whole process probably in February or so, coming up with ideas. Probably the next month we'll do a tasting for the chefs. We'll work on finalizing the desserts. We did a photo shoot about a month ago. And then right now we're putting together all the recipes and photos so all our cooks have the information and packets so that we can start producing about a week before the event starts.
Awesome. So the Food and Wine Classic's like a 10-month in the making event. So that's why it's so thought out and everything looks so perfect. Thank you so much.
We learn something new every year from the event and we can make it bigger and better.
Always evolving. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
They opened up the ballroom portion of the view up here on the 15th floor for us to check out. I can see every single park from in here. Obviously there is the Tower of Terror and Hollywood Studios there off to the side. I can see Blizzard Beach better there off to the distance. And back there, if I pan a little bit farther, that right there is Expedition Everest. The Tree of Life's right there off to the right, and there's Grandestino Tower and Coronado Springs out this side. Let's check out the other side and see if we can see any more sweeping views, but this is only open for private events. The actual Food and Wine Classic will be taking place on the causeway between the Swan and Dolphin resorts. This is a really great place to be able to come up and check out for the preview. This is the inside view of that beautiful sweeping view. Look, people are down there in the little swan boats. I love that. You can actually complimentary take those out if you're staying at the Swan and Dolphin. Fun fact, those swan boats. I've never seen anyone in them before. This is a great place to see that from. But if I pan just over here to the left, I see the Contemporary Resort back there, as well as Space Mountain and Tron, and a teeny tiny Cinderella Castle right there. The Food and Wine Classic is returning for the 14th year here to the Swan and Dolphin. The very cool thing about it is they feature house-made dishes at every single one of the tasting stops. So no matter where you stop along the path, from booth number 1 to the very end, every single thing you're tasting and every element of the thing that you are tasting is going to be made from scratch in-house at the Swan and Dolphin, and I have the opportunity to taste a few of them here today. Rosa Mexicano is a restaurant here at the Swan and Dolphin, and here is their made tableside guacamole with chips. I did have this at that media event, and I didn't even take a bite of it here yet to tell you how darn good it is. The avocados are like peak freshness, and they do make it tableside in the actual restaurant, and it's part of the tasting here at this event. We've got another dish from Rosa Mexicano here. This is the red chili chicken taco. They've topped it with some fresh red onion, avocado, and some cojita cheese there. And the flavor profile that I get from this really is that red chili. You can see that the chicken almost has a reddish color to it. That really just goes to show how long and for how much it was marinated in that red chili spicing. It retained all of its juiciness though, and really is full of flavor. Here is the Reuben quote-unquote sandwich with a nice chunk of carved house-made corned beef that you've got on there. They marinate this stuff for days before the event happens, so it really does absorb all of the flavor in addition to the flavor from that fat that is on it, and it is paired with some rye bread, Russian dressing, and some sauerkraut there, and those really just help to bring out the flavor of that really tender, almost cut it with a fork corned beef. This is gorgonzola cheese-filled agnolotti, and this is from Il Molino here, which is another restaurant on property. Really, really good Italian restaurant, one of my favorites. All right, let's talk about the couple things that I have tasted so far. I want to start with that agnolotti from Il Molino. That really surprised me because I am not a huge gorgonzola fan, in all honesty, but it was the evolution and the lightness of that dish that really took me off guard. The pasta, the outside, you can tell that it was definitely made in-house. They mentioned earlier here that every single thing that is a part of the Food and Wine Classic, including the garnishes that go onto the desserts and onto the little individual plates, every single thing is made in-house here at the Swan and Dolphin. So those pasta outsides that the gorgonzola was wrapped in, you can tell it was freshly made in-house, so soft. You can tell it's not that box pasta that you can get from the grocery store. So that was my first indication that it was a high-level dish. But then I tasted it with the pear, and the pear really offset the gorgonzola. I thought it was gonna be a very heavy dish, but really it was light and really refreshing, and I loved that one. Rosa Mexicano, I really liked that restaurant when we were there, invited for the media preview. They had their tableside guacamole and their red chili chicken taco. I gave them great reviews when I had them at the media preview, and I am pleased to report that has not changed. The quality from Rosa Mexicano has stayed just as high as it had when we visited for the media preview, and they will be represented here at the Food and Wine Classic in November as well. The king crab, I have to steal his quote. Someone that was sitting at my table, he said, "This tastes like it's been soaked in butter for a year." And he meant it in the best way possible, because as fresh as those crab legs are and as really meaty as they are, there was a ton of meat on those king crab legs, which you know you're getting your money's worth there. The butter was the overwhelming flavor of it. They don't give you any butter to dip it in. It's actually been soaked and marinated in butter. So if you are a crab legs fan, that's probably going to be one of your favorite dishes here today. And that Reuben was surprising too. That big piece of fat on the outside of it helped it maintain its real tenderness that gave it just a very different texture. They used to chewing through a corned beef thing like that. This was not at all like that. You could really almost cut it through with a fork. So enjoying everything here so far. They've got several wine offerings for us to enjoy here today, but they told us that at the Food and Wine Classic, there will be no less than 85 different beverage pairings. I went with the Stoneleigh New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, which is one of the options that will be available at the event here today. So 85 different stations at the event. Pretty awesome. While I continue to explore the Food and Wine Classic, tune in for a word from my friends over at WDW Magazine.
Subscribe to WDW Magazine and escape to Walt Disney World every single month. This large format glossy magazine is filled with content, not ads. Subscribe now and don't miss another month of magic.
Here's where they make that nitro ginger ice cream that goes on the raspberry moon desserts. Very fancy looking with that liquid frozen nitrogen here. And here is a look at the dessert. Like I said earlier, all of the presentations are really gorgeous. They not only put thought into what the food is going to entail and what it's going to taste like, but also what it looks like when you get it. So it just makes it look 10 times more appetizing and appealing when it's plated so nicely. Here is that raspberry moon officially in its plated form after I saw it being made in that nitrogen. Okay, let's review my second round of tasting items that I had here today at the preview. I'm gonna start with the vegan pan-fried dumpling. I really like dumplings, so I was excited to taste this one. The outside of it, they really accomplished getting that crispiness on the outside of it. The inside of it was stuffed with vegetables. A lot of times I've had dumplings where the outside, when it's fried, will almost separate from the inside fillings. This was not the case at all. The inside was absolutely stuffed full, retained really a nice juiciness to those veggies because it was pan-fried, and the outside had that nice crunch that gave way to the soft center, and I really like that little spicy sauce that it was in. It gave it a whole other layer of flavor that I really honestly was not expecting. I thought that the compressed late harvest watermelon was going to be more of a sweeter item, and it definitely was not. It was packed full of flavor with all of those little additional elements that came with it, and it was a nice kind of palate refresher in between all of these heavier, much more savory style courses. So that was like a nice little refreshing reset before I got to that pumpkin fry bread. Oh my goodness. Probably my favorite dessert item here so far here today. It's so good. They were frying them fresh right in front of me, and the chef told me that the ingredients for the dough is very simple. Just some flour, some pumpkin spice, they flash fry them, and then they cover them in some powdered sugar before they get coated in pumpkin spice sauce. So delicious, so dense, but not in a way that makes them heavy. They're almost a cross between like a beignet and a fried dough. I'm from northeastern Pennsylvania, where pizza fritta are a very, very popular item. It reminded me of that, but a little bit denser. And with that pumpkin spice flavoring in there, I could have eaten 12 of those if they would have let me. So those were absolutely delicious and a standout for me here today. My Sauvignon Blanc is pairing fantastically with everything that I've had. Like I said, it is a dry wine, so all of the savory items, of course, it paired really nicely with them and provided that dry contrast. But even with the pumpkin fry bread and that raspberry moon that surprised me a lot with that delicious ginger ice cream that was slow churned, which means that it was not icy. I really appreciated that because a lot of nitro ice creams can necessarily not be creamy. This one was really creamy and paired well with that nice dense shortbread cookie. The raspberry flavor came through like gangbusters at the end when I swallowed it. It was really nice, flavorful, and then I tasted the Sauvignon Blanc after, and what a nice flavor profile that is. So that has paired fantastically well with everything that I've had so far here today. In addition to the regularly ticketed event, there are several seminars that guests can attend during the Food and Wine Classic. They have everything from a base to bubbles class, a pasta making class, a class focused on beer, which actually really focuses on the local breweries that are participating in this year's event. So if you are someone who really wants to dive deep into the lore and how everything came together to make this event, check out those seminars. All right, here's a general overview of the little tasting desserts. The blood orange and raspberry tart, I really liked the shortbread that it was in on the bottom. Very short, meaning that it was nice and dense in a really good way. And those raspberries are absolutely picked at the peak of ripeness. You can really tell that they didn't just grab random raspberries from a grocery store bin. They actually chose ones that were really nice and ripe. They've got a little bit of gold plating on the top there too. The pear pecan praline cake and black fig compote, and they did tell me that nothing is sourced from the outside, not even these little accoutrements on top of the dessert. It's all been made here in house. These are really nice and sticky and dense with that black fig compote, giving them a really, really nice sweetness that was unexpected. In addition to the more than 100 tasting items, the 85 beverage stations, and of course the fact that this event takes place on the beautiful causeway between the Swan and Dolphin, there is also live entertainment that happens. There are rotating live entertainment acts that happen during the Food and Wine Classic. So when one entertainment act takes a break, another one will come on the stage, so there's never a break during the entertainment. That is all included in the $180 ticket price for this event. It is unlimited tastings when you go to the event. You can try as much of any single thing or everything as you want when you do attend, and the location combined with the entertainment makes this a really unique and special experience. The chefs here are so passionate about this food. I went up to every single one of the booths and they were more than eager to tell me almost without me even asking any kind of question. So they're really excited to showcase their work. You can tell that they're passionate about it. You can tell that they're excited about it. And I am excited for them to get to show the world what they've worked so hard on over the past 10 months because quite honestly, everything was extremely flavorful, a complexity that I'm not used to in every single dish that I eat on the course of every day. So I'm excited for them to get to show off their skills because they really did do a fantastic job, even with just the few things we got to try here today. So if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos just like this coming your way. Thanks for watching, everyone. Again, I'm Maria, and I'll see you in the next Magical Escape.